Your ballots and make your voices heard. It's election day. That's where we find the Valley. Today's Jillian Trudeau joining us live, giving us a list of who is running for multiple positions in the state and region. Good morning, Jillian.
Good morning, Jordan. That's exactly right. I'm here at the Clay County Government Center where the doors are open. People are lining in to fill out and turn in their ballot. One big race that Minnesota voters can expect to see on the ballot is the Minnesota governor's race, and with that, a lot of names. So I'm going to break it down for you guys. The current governor and Lieutenant Governor Tim Walz and Penny Flanagan you'll be able to find on the ballot. They say they have built a strong economy in Minnesota by investing in workers and small businesses. Walz, being a former teacher, considers support for the public schools a top priority. The two helped pass public safety reforms and proposed $300 million to help fund local governments and law enforcement. And running against them is the Republican candidate, Dr. Scott Jensen and Matt Burke, who were just recently endorsed by former President Donald Trump. Their big push is to reduce crime. They plan to make harsh penalties for carjacking, to stop nonprofit funding to bail out criminals, and to use the National Guard. Along with that, we have Steve Patterson and Matt Huff. Some of Patterson's views include pro-First and Second Amendment, pro-choice, anti-vaccine mandate, pro-mental health advocacy and awareness, and helping people who are homeless to become self-sufficient. They are a part of the Grassroots Legalized Cannabis Party of Minnesota. Along with that, we have Hugh McTavish and Mike Winters. Their core reasons for running to be governor are jury democracy, opposition to COVID lockdowns, governing with the goal of happiness, not GPD growth, and restoring the environment. They're a part of the Independence Party of Minnesota. Then we have James McCaskill and David Sandbeck. They're a part of the Legal Marijuana Now Party. And then Gabrielle Prosser and Kevin A. Dwyer, and they're part of the Socialist Workers Party's candidate. So lots of names there, lots of things to break down and take into consideration with this big race, along with many other candidates and races that are going on the Minnesota ballot. So we encourage everyone to get out and vote at your local polling location. In Moorhead, I'm Jillian Trudeau. Back to you, Jordan.
Yeah, well, a lot to go over. We'll have more election coverage shortly, but first we want to check in this morning now with meteorologist Lisa Green as she gives us